Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Bridge Show, episode 12. Now, this show is very, very different from our other shows that we have been putting on. This show is a legendary show. This show is going to be recapping and celebrating 20 years of Bridge. There's people that are watching the show right now, they're not even near 20 years old. The Bridge has been older than you. Think about that. It's crazy. But we're gonna be literally traveling back in time, talking about all the greatness that this program has done for the city of Elizabeth, all the lives that it has changed, and all that goodness. For those who are part of the Bridge, you probably think it's just another youth program that you go to every single Friday. But no, it's actually something a lot bigger. It's a thing that has changed lives for many, many years. There's people that from the beginning that till this day contact us, contact the leaders from back in the day, just thanking them for all the big things. And we're gonna be traveling through that time. But just like anything that begins, it's always the founding fathers, the ones who started it all. And this is who we're going to have today to join us in our show, is the first leaders of the Bridge ever. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the one and only, our founding father, the OG, the boss, Pastor Carlos Cedeño,
Oh man,
his
He's
lovely
so
wife.
I, that's a no joke title. I'm so excited to be here with everyone to be able to celebrate the 20 years, and for me, just to think that it's been a journey that I've been able to go on with Brian and well, I don't know if I should say the names. I know
It's
Jesus.
all right.
Oh, we're all on screen now. You can say names.
Okay, with Brian and Billy, and of course with Jen. Back then, like we weren't even probably even dating.
No, we weren't.
We weren't even dating in the beginning. So that's just to show you how far back we go. So for us to recap the 20 years is really exciting.
Behind every great man, there's an even greater woman that pretty much makes him a better person, keeps them focused, keeps them in the middle and making sure that things go well. And that's the one and only Jen, the lovely Jen.
Love you, Jesus. Hi, everyone. It's so awesome to be part of the show and just kind of going back in memory lane. I cannot believe that it's been 20 years since we started the Bridge. And I am just so excited to be here to kind of share a little bit of the story for those of you that don't know about how the beginning was.
And we have right here Brian Mayfield, one of the original OGs, the one who literally impacted so many of the youth lives, especially those that were like me back in the day. For a lot of people thought we were outcasts, and but yeah, Pastor Brian at the time holding us down, took care of us, showed us a lot of love. And Brian, man, you're literally there since the beginning. Thank you for joining us today. How does it feel, man?
It actually it feels a little weird, like 20 years. And, I tell people, yes, I helped start this youth group, blah, 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 but they don't get it. I'm proud to see what you guys have done with it after I've stepped away. I'm amazed at some of the stuff you guys do, and it blesses me, blesses my heart to just to see you keep going on.
Awesome, man. I love you, man. You know that. And you guys already know Billy William Hartz. He's been literally our captain, our manager, our coach throughout this entire show, our producer. But what you guys don't know is that Billy was actually one of the original leaders as well. And he's actually been part of the Bridge longer than anybody, including our founder. Our founder retired. He already moved on to greater things, but not Billy. Billy actually has been there since day one. So think about it. Billy has been part of this program for 20 years, longer than a lot of you kids right there that are watching this right now. Living. Billy, how does it feel? 20 years.
It's a surreal experience. I mean, there's not many things in your life you get to be a part of for that long. I mean, not even like jobs. Like nowadays, people like change jobs all the time. I mean, to be part of the same program for 20 years is kind of crazy, I think.
It is crazy, which is why, we love Billy. He's been such a gigantic focal point in just making this whole thing run. And, we love you, Bill. But guys, 20 years. It's a long time. It seems like a big lifetime. But let's go back down memory lane. If we go back to time machine right now, right? To a time machine. And we go back to the year 2001. and you guys was hanging out together, planning this big giant ministry, where can we go back to?
We should probably go back to 1999 or something to start, right?
But
Pretty
it was
much.
year 2000 in June is when it officially started. Like officially the break, June 2000.
And a little before that, we were kind of just sitting around wondering what we were going to do, because the previous iteration of what we were doing had come to an end. And it was...
The baton was passed, and it was up to you guys to start off the future and tell us more.
Yeah, I remember as clear as day during that time, Pastor Gary came up to me and he asked me if I would be willing to lead the youth ministry and pretty much be the youth pastor in charge of it. And of course, like, if you know me long enough, I love adventures. I love taking challenges and doing new things and new projects and everything, and starting new ministries. So the moment he told me, I said yes. That wasn't even a question. And one of my earliest memories was sitting in the attic of my mother's house with Brian, Billy, and Jen, trying to figure out what do we want this ministry to look like? What are we going to call this ministry? We're so used to calling it the Bridge. We had no name for it at that point. Well, before we were calling it Consuming Fire Youth Group, but we knew that we were in a season of change. So what are we going to call it moving forward? So we were in my mother's attic trying to think through.
Yeah,
writing down different names, different images, and we came upon the Bridge because many of you know our mission statement is uniting the hearts of youth with the heart of God. And that bridge was going to be what we would use, the youth ministry would be what we would use to bridge that gap. So that's kind of, what it started. It sounded pretty good. The image was pretty good. I think, Billy, you're wearing the original Bridge logo shirt on today.
Yeah.
I think I see.
That's our original logo right there. Actually, not the original. We added the youth ministries part later
Right.
on. But it was this font like there. I remember that meeting in the attic when Carlos first brought up the name of the Bridge. It didn't quite go over so well right away in the beginning. He had
Who
to
declined? Who was like, nah, that's whack.
he had to convince us a little bit. So he
How it is with most of my ideas.
he had to explain the whole.
A little time to process it, but go ahead, Bill, and finish it up.
He had to explain the whole uniting the hearts of youth with the heart of God and the imagery, and then because once you said let's call it the Bridge, like, well, that's not a name for a youth ministry. And then once he started explaining with the bigger vision, we're like, oh, that's a perfect name for a youth ministry. And then it kind of, it was decided right there. It wasn't very long, but it was decided right there, and then we just kind of ran with it.
Cool.
Did you have any objections to the name, or did you like it from the beginning, Brian?
To tell you the truth, I don't recall. We're talking 20 years ago, a conversation, and but you know what? I at that point in time, I was there just to support and to back up Carlos, because I knew that he was the man that God had put in charge. So I wasn't going to try to throw up any kind of obstacle,
Awesome. And so the name was created, and on you guys went to start the journey. Where were you guys located in the very, very, very beginning?
Okay, in the very, very beginning, we were in one small room. I even remember the color of the carpet. It's like a red and black carpet. It's very, very dark room in Second Presbyterian Church on East Jersey Street. And that room was where we started. We started with very, very, like maybe 3 kids, I think, on the first night. Oh, no.
I think it was 7 or 8, yes.
It
was less than 10.
A handful, yeah.
Group, and I remember being in that room and saying, "Listen, we got to do something with this room." So we started brainstorming again.
And I just want to give really quick a shout out, just in case he happens to watch it, to Pastor Granson from Second Press for letting us use his church during that time. It was a crucial time for us. And to also Kathy and Lily, because they were part of the original 7, 8 kids that were there. So.
And actually, how old was Billy at the time? Because I don't think Billy was an official leader.
I was when the Bridge started. I was in my second year of college, so I was 19 or 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Good
crazy.
deal.
Yeah, I actually started youth ministry before the Bridge. I started with Consuming Fire.
You were never just a youth, Billy. You know that.
So the carpet was red and blackish. The walls were wooden, if I could remember. I remember that room a little bit.
Really dark room.
And what did you guys do to make sure there was a place where everybody was welcome, where not you know? Because the one thing about the Bridge that I always found fascinating was that a lot of people that went to the Bridge as a youth were kids that are not church kids. How were you guys so successful in those early years in making that place a place where, there was no churches kids went. They just went there because it was cool, and they ended up finding who Jesus was.
Well, I think we decided that we really needed to tap into the culture of the time, right? And we had to make the group relevant. Our discussions, etc. But we also needed to make it a place that would attract kids, right? So back in the day, with our limited resources, we decided that we would change first the ambiance of the room, right? So we went out to the store and we got I think 4 colored light bulbs. Yes.
We were really cool.
And so we were in the room, Pastor Grenson, you don't know anything about this, and we switched out the light bulbs and we put on, some music. And I remember we also created menus. So we made a list of some food that we would serve. I remember it was like mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
We had like grilled cheese.
I had my Friendlies. I used to work for Friendlies, so I had the Friendlies little book to take the orders down.
So we had a little coffee, little hour, we put on, like some music and stuff. And that was kind of like the beginning of it. And then the second thing was, I would say, just building relationships with the kids, right? So whoever came through that door, we made it a point to invest and make them feel like they were a rock star the first time that they walked into that room. So that was, I guess how it started, really just trying to be very intentional and to create an ambiance that would be inviting and that the youth at the time would want to come to.
Do you guys?
I just want to add. Yeah.
Do you guys remember who the kitchen manager, the chef was that first night?
Was it Alex?
It was Alex. He's very proud of that fact. He's mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah. I thought it was Alex.
It was Alex.
No, I was just going to add too that when it came to the kids, we really, we were doing youth group. It was the same every single week. Like it was very predictable. So we wanted to change it up. So we did the 4-week format where every week is something different. And it really, God blessed it. God blessed it. We went from like 7-8 kids having in the beginning to 75 within like 2 months, I think. Like it was fast. Pretty much open. It grew fast.
Brian, when you started I'm sorry, you was gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
When you started noticing that the numbers were swelling and you started seeing all these kids come in, what was going through your mind?
What are we gonna do with them all? We because it's funny because we had all different kinds of kids. Yes, we had a few church kids, but we had a lot of kids from the area, and not everybody was into the same things. Not everybody enjoyed our first week, which was of the month, which was basically a really relaxed time of
chill night.
Yeah, chill night. It was gym. It was everybody get in the gym and have fun and play, run around, be active, be giddy, and chase each other around and stupid stuff like that. But then we also had other times for those guys who kind of felt like they wanted to sit down and talk about some stuff, and we can try to form those relationships a little bit differently than on the basketball court or serving them a little snack or playing cards or whatever else we were doing in the first night, So I think we really took the opportunity to try to form those relationships, and I think we got a good number of them.
Sure did, man. With Retreat 2001 was the first one, or 2000? 2001 was the first one?
2001 was the first.
First, yeah.
And about how many people do you guys remember, if you can, how many people went to that particular retreat?
So as we talked about in the BYMC episode we did a couple weeks ago, we were in the small room, which is now a game room, and that room only held like 75 kids. So we are probably
Real quick, before you continue, for those who are watching this that are part of the bridge now, you know, at the retreat where that room where it has the pool tables, have the little hockey things, right behind the snack shop. Imagine having an entire retreat in that room.
Yep.
Ooh.
It
That was
got
back in
hot.
the day.
yeah.
Very, we had instruments in that room too, so that took up a corner. So we were packed in there for sure.
Yeah, but it was probably 60 to maybe 90 if we packed it out. If we were tight in there, I mean, I don't remember exactly, and there's no photo
We
evidence
had more in
because
that room. You definitely had more in that room.
yeah, but it couldn't have been much over 100 if it was fully packed out.
I think, I mean, technically you would have 90. I mean, you could probably fit a couple more, but it would definitely be really full. But you wouldn't have space to do anything. You would literally just be able to stand like a sardine. So I was gonna say before, on a side note, I know Brian was talking about, well, like, you know, like, and Jesus talked about Brian. For the record, Brian Mayfield is the most effective small group facilitator, communicator in discussions that goes down in history for the bridge. I just want to say that.
You
Brian,
better
Brian
call
is
him Dr. Mayfield, all right? He has a PhD in small groups.
Yeah, definitely.
So you guys were able to grow and grow and grow. Went through the first retreat, and a lot of people don't have a lot of memories. Billy was telling me about how back in those days there's no such thing as cameras, so there's not a lot of pictures.
There was cameras, but we couldn't afford digital cameras. Digital cameras were brand new, and so we didn't have any. So there's
we barely had a budget from the church, not too much. So
yeah.
Like I said, the light bulbs were like innovative.
We actually still have those light bulbs. They're in the Liberty in a box. I have them stored safely in the back of a closet for some future use, but we have them still, and they still work. I tested them last year.
Fabulous. You know
That's
what
funny.
we used to do that I'm just reminded of? We also used to give out mixtapes to the kids when they came in. So so again, tapes are no longer in existence any longer. But we have, I think somewhere over here, we actually have the mixtape
pretty much.
cover in there. And as the kids would leave the bridge, we would give them some worship songs and mixtapes of different church music that they could listen at home.
This is the. I have to admit, it doesn't look that appealing, but it was hot back then, all right? So it said the bridge every Friday night, 7:30 to 10 at Second Press. Sorry, only youth the ages 12 to 18. And then on the side it said uniting the hearts of youth with the heart of God. This was hot stuff.
It was.
We could have sold it and made a lot of money, but we gave them for free.
Who was the one who created these mixtapes?
That was all Carlos,
At
wasn't
that
it?
time, I think it was it Mikey and
That's
Kevin,
right. Yeah,
Kevin's
that's right.
brother.
Yeah, you're right.
Nice. I mean,
Yeah,
think about it.
DJ in the basement.
Think about it. A kid that doesn't know anything about God finds out about a program that they're just hanging out, you know, playing some games, just chilling, and they come out with not only something about God, an introduction about God, but also a mixtape that they could rock into their their Walkmans.
Walkman.
And if anyone's still unclear what the mixtape is, the mixtape then is equivalent to our Spotify playlist that we have to go in today. Same thing. Same
Yes.
thing.
And as a quick commercial, guys, those who are watching this right now, we have a Spotify playlist that you can listen to all the worship that we have there. We have BYMC playlists that you can listen to. We have like seasons. So we had one for summer. We're about to create one for this particular summer. We even had a coronavirus playlist for you to listen to during these blue times. But back to the show.
What were you saying before, Jesus? You were going to the timeline or something.
Yeah, so you guys completed your first BYMC, and you guys were really back at it again the next following year, continuing to grow and expand. You got to the point that when the year 2003 came, you guys were too big for your particular small room. And tell us what happened then.
So it happened in 2003, but the talk started earlier. The talk started in 2002, November 2002, but it didn't happen until 2003. Carlos, do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to talk about it?
Where do we go, Billy? So oftentimes we would go out to eat, hang out after the bridge or even on the weekend, right? So one of the places that we would love to go to would be Bennigan's, which no longer exists at all.
No,
right?
now
So
it's a
that.
diner. Now it's a diner on Route 22. So I
So
actually
we would go there.
I remember this event
Yeah.
very specifically because it was the day after one of our monthly leadership meetings, which was every third Friday of the month after the bridge. We would have a leadership meeting. And then in November 2002, which would have been the 16th or 17th, something like that.
November 16th.
I left my laptop at your house. It was in your house, your old apartment. I left my laptop there, and so Saturday after work, I went back to pick it up, and we just started talking about the bridge because that's all we talked about. And we ended up going to dinner at Bennigan's, and then we started talking about how we realized that we were attracting mostly not church kids to the bridge, and most of the kids walked, which means that they had like a mile radius or something around our building where they were going to come from. And so we had a lot of influence in that area in Midtown Elizabeth, but we weren't affecting a whole lot in the outside reaches of Elizabeth. So we started talking about how we could possibly reach out to kids in other parts of Elizabeth.
So of course, at that time, we didn't have any paper. We barely had a pen. So we had to just use what was available. So we just whipped out the Bennigan's napkin and start dreaming, what if we start duplicating the Bridge ministry in different neighborhoods throughout the city of Elizabeth? Because how Billy said, it was a very high percentage of kids that would walk. So we really we used to want the kids to come to us, but instead of them coming to us, we wanted to reach them and go to them. So we ended up getting a napkin, and this was, what year was this?
2002.
This was 2002, yeah.
Whatever material Bennigan's uses for their napkins, it lasts forever. And I kept the napkin. Look, I have a little treasure chest for the napkin that we use. This little treasure chest is just for the Bennigan's napkin. So I don't know, this is like a holy moment.
And that's why they're out of business, because they use such high quality napkins.
I don't feel like I can't even put, like my fingertips might be oily. I have to use something special. But here, Jen, why don't you show them what we got there?
So this is the original.
Don't pull it too much. Don't rip it.
My goodness. This is the original Bennigan's napkin, where we mapped out the different areas of the city, and then there's a back here. So we were maxing out at 70 kids, right, at East Jersey that were walking, to the church, and we really wanted to impact, like how Carlos and Billy was saying, the different areas. So we started thinking about what other areas, right? So we have downtown. Here we have, so on this side here, I'm sorry, we have Elmora, we have Bayway, North Elizabeth, right? And so we started dreaming of different bridges in these different locations. And little by little, we started opening them up.
And all I know is that I think Billy was eating chicken wings that night.
We all were.
There's a little stain, there's a little stain right there. That's Billy's chicken wing.
Jen actually remembers what we all had. We all had the same thing.
Yes.
The Big Irish.
We had the
right?
Big Irish. This was a really huge burger, and it had like a knife that went right through. We would just kill this burger, and so we were having the burger, and we were drawing on the napkins, and man, we were vision casting and not even knowing it at sitting there on November 16th.
And I just want to highlight, if you could look right there, the goal was to reach 200 kids by expanding it through that. So when you think about it, how many kids have we reached through the years? Much more than 200. So we were dreaming, but even in our biggest dream, it was small compared to what God had planned.
Amen. Amen. So the bridge decided to expand, decided to grow. And it started off in just having one location that normal traditional youth groups are usually based off of one particular location. And you guys expanded to your first location. Your first expansion was the Bridge Elmora.
Yep, that was April 4th, 2003.
Billy's the historian. He remembers all the dates.
I don't remember none of those days.
And then after that, you guys continue to grow, but something else happened the following year that was extremely monumental was our first ever mission trip, E-Town's mission. The first one ever was in the year 2004. Any memories about that? Do we have any pictures, Billy, that you would like to share to the team?
I was not on that trip because I had to work in the summertime back then, and so I didn't go. So I have no photos of that.
I actually have. I have one or two, but not available to show now. But Brian, did you go on that mission trip to Mon Valley?
Because I too had to work,
Yeah.
but I think I came through one night, and I think it was. I'm not sure. I don't even remember what the format was for every night, but it was kind of like that big night at every retreat where we worship and we just fell face first into God, and God met us where we were. It was such a time of ministry and a time where I hope we touched and changed lives that night. And I don't remember, there's not a whole lot of specifics, but I do remember kids bawling and kids worshiping and their hearts being met by Christ.
Definitely. Like in the evening, we would spend time like in ministry. But the big thing, we ended up going to Mon Valley, Pennsylvania, and when we were there spending the week, we would do different things serving the community, and it was an amazing time. But after we were done, we're like, how come we're not doing this in Elizabeth? It's like, you know what I mean? Like we go far away to bless that community, which was all good. We would do it again. But it's like we're doing stuff outside of town that we don't even do at home. So that's where, we started to. Then every evening we would do worship gatherings and ministry, and how Brian mentioned, kids would be impacted. So
I actually found there's photos of the Mon Valley trip. That was actually 2002 was Mon Valley. And then 2003 was when we started doing it at home. So I did find those photos. I had a couple of them on the screen. I do have the first E-Town mission.
Oh wow, amazing! Looking at the pictures right now, and it's like it looks like it's a long time ago. The way we dress, right? And then so the years go by, and a lot of events happen. 2004 was near the time where I started. I came in the retreat 2004, the retreat chosen. That's when I found God for the first time ever, and I've been on the bridge and been part of the bridge ever since, nonstop. But throughout all those years, there's been so many events. Do any of you guys have famous events that you guys can recall that you think about and you say, man, I remember that event, whether it's a lot of preparing or the fun that it had, or because it was such successful, or because it was such a failure? What were some events that you guys remember and consider one of your favorites?
I can tell you, we always try to do things that, would be different, and one would draw the attention of the kids. I remember two events specifically, and sometimes I feel like the prepping was just as fun as the actual event, right? So we had this huge water balloon capture the flag event that we had announced, and we literally spent the entire night making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of water balloons. I remember Ali was my partner, and my fingers were raw, but we laughed so much in just making all of those balloons that it was like so exciting. Another event that we did that was kind of similar is we had a Jell-O bowl. So we made I don't know how many containers of Jell-O. We had literally pools of Jell-O and different activities around the Jell-O, and so we had teams of blue Jell-O making and red Jell-O making teams, and we had to put all the Jell-O together in these tubs. And like I said, that was so much fun just prepping for it. And then the event was a blast. So again, those were just kind of two that came to the top of my head.
And I just want to show real quick, this is the official flyer of the Jell-O Bowl. Now,
advertising is a little, wait for it, okay?
We've come a long way with our design skills, but this is Jell-O Bowl coming soon. What? And this year, this is an official picture of the Jell-O Bowl. You can see there we had bottles of Jell-O. We had other games, and definitely thanking God for Billy's dad, Mike Hartz. I mean, without question,
the OG.
He's the OG. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for everything he's done in my life, and I know so many of us would fit these things. So.
None of us would be. Yeah.
What about you, Brian? Any funny events that you remember?
Oh man, I just remember so many things. Just one in particular, I remember, like Jim said, the planning of some of the events was always a good time. I can't remember a time of anybody really having any strife or anything. I remember helping to put together the Elizabeth, what is it? Elizabeth Got Talent, or Elizabeth
E-Town Idol.
E-Town Idol, that's it. And that was a joy.
Here it is.
Put together, yeah.
That's Kathy there in the cover. Kathy, right there, representing.
I mean, and that was something that that was something that I didn't think was going to be as, what's the word I'm looking for?
Big?
Professional as it was. You know, I thought it was just going to be a little talent show. Okay, we put something together, but it was just like, my goodness, who's got the television cameras? Who's got, you know, and it went on for a good number of years, you know, and it was like, wow.
You guys got a DVD to that.
We sure do.
We get a DVD player now.
Yeah, who knows how to see that now?
Yeah, I don't think those exist anymore.
I hope us.
I remember
What
that.
about you, Billy? What event do you remember?
So, I mean, one of my favorite events, I'm not even going to talk about BYMCs because we did a whole show about that, but one of my favorite events we did was after we started doing the mission trip at home, the E-Town mission, we decided, we did it for like 4 years, something like that, 4 years at home. Then we were like, no, let's go on a road trip and let's go do a mission trip somewhere else. So in 2007, we went to Cherokee, North Carolina, and we were there for like a whole week, and that was a really, really fun trip. I have some photos that are on the screen now, but we did all kinds of stuff. We climbed a waterfall when we got down there. We went to, it's not Dorney Park. It's the same company that owns Dorney Park, so everything's like very much like Dorney Park, but it was called King's Dominion. We went there for amusement park. We did all kinds of fun things, but then we spent a whole week on a Native American reservation, and we were helping people fix their houses and stuff like that. And it was just a really cool experience.
One of my favorite events back in the day that we did was, we did first the tsunami one, and then the second one that we did was for Maji, and we did a whole show so that we can build a water pump for a village in Africa. And once again, the Bridge Youth Ministries, they put together an amazing show with a whole bunch of sponsors, and we had a whole entire show, and we were able to raise money to put a water pump in a village in Africa, and that was definitely one of my favorite events growing up into the bridge.
I actually have the card. It's our promotional card. It says, "This Christmas, give the gift of water." I guess we did it around Christmas time. And then it's got all kinds of information on there. I can't find any photos of this or videos. I know we have them somewhere, but this is the promotional card that we used to promote Maji back, what year was it? This was 2008.
Yeah.
Good year.
Good year. Yeah, it was for a village in Tanzania. So it was really beautiful. I think we raised about $2,500 for the water well for that.
People are in the chat. People are talking about the. Oh, look at this. Actually, before I say that, this just fell out of the folder. Here's the ticket to get into the Maji show.
Oh, that's cool.
Like that. You have that on the back. Look at that. People in the chat, they're talking about the Tsunami Relief Dance Show. That they love that. Samantha, my sister's in there, talking about Tsunami Relief Dance Show.
Your sister's on there. She was one of my dance partners. We did a version of Sweet Dreams for that show, and that was quite a routine.
What was really cool with the Tsunami Relief Dance Show too was just how I mean, that's another event that it was like high caliber, and we were able to organize it and get a lot of different groups involved. So that was really nice because the schools were involved, other dance studios were involved, and it was great. It was great.
Yep. So going back to the retreats, it started off, very, very young. You guys, we went from the really small game room, then we expanded to the chapel room, and then the retreat continued to explode. And in the year 2010, we ended up going to the big room. And one of the first, and then and what I would like to do right now is we're gonna go on a little break, and we're about to bring in a very, very special guest. Billy, or not yet?
I just contacted them. Give me talk for a little bit. Give me
No
about
problem.
30 seconds.
So around the year 2010, right?
Which is around the time this person became part of the bridge.
Yeah, was when the numbers at the retreat blew up so much. Does anybody remember how many people went to the retreat 2010?
It was a lot. Like I think that we were over 250.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It was like probably like 270. We're close to 270. This is the I'm the Movement, right?
No, that was
this was Unleash.
This is Unleash.
This was Unleash Your Spirit.
Oh, Unleash. No. Yeah. Unleash. Yeah, it was a lot. I think that was the most we ever had.
I just remember that year. I remember when we all unloaded the bus. I was one of the student leaders, or I was like the student leader back then, leader in training, and just making sure that all the kids go from the bus to the main theater. And it was as if I was hoarding a gigantic horde of like sheep, just a whole bunch of giant kids just walking out those buses heading towards the theater, and it was just so many people, and it was an explosion of just interest in the Lord and stuff like that, and in God. 250, that was a lot, right, Brian? What do you think about 250 kids you had to oversee?
I'm glad I didn't go that year. I just remember not sleeping on any of the retreats I've been on. And by the time that it was Sunday came around, I was ready to wring a few necks. So with 250 kids, I might have gotten rocked up that weekend.
I remember just the check-in, like just the clipboard and making sure we had every kid on the bus, every kid going in, and then the luggage, right? Matching the luggage with the kid. And so that I was on logistics that year for sure. And that was a challenge.
And special shout out to any team that's in charge of the luggage throughout the years, because that's a ministry nobody wanted to do, but it was essential, and it was extremely important.
So our guest is ready. Whose first retreat was Retreat 2010? If we're ready for a blast in the past.
Ready, bring her in.
Here we go.
Hey.
How are you guys? Am I like?
You're sideways.
You're sideways.
Okay, I tried to figure it out, but I guess I didn't do well. Okay, is this better?
We'll go with it.
Join us. Nice prize.
Really did warn me to have it horizontal, but I thought it would work if I did that through the camera, but I guess it didn't. But it's so good to see you guys.
Likewise.
So we should probably introduce her. No, because not everyone knows who this person is.
So Dayanara was one of the Bridge Youth kids that came to the Bridge, got learned about God, went to the retreat 2010. BYMC was and her life literally just evolved from there. She was a part of the Bridge for almost half a decade after that. Participating as one of our student leaders, just rock and rolling, being a great example for the youth, and just being Daya. So it's just really good to have you here. She was also a student in a very, very great school.
Terry Riley.
Yes, she was one of my
I was the first graduate.
first
The
graduate
first.
class,
Wow.
2009, 2010. She was in the
Yeah.
choir. She danced. She did everything. This girl, she was amazing.
Thank you. It was awesome. Like such an honor to graduate from Terrence C. Riley under Miss Danio, the principal of Terrence C. Riley. But now I think you're a superintendent, right?
Assistant superintendent.
Well, a superintendent in my eyes.
Love.
So Dea, you've started going to Bridge 2010, and just
Yeah.
talk about the early years when you first started going. What was your thought about the Bridge, and why did you stay for such a long time?
Yeah, so I first start. Oh, did you guys hear that?
Yeah, don't worry about
There's
it.
like
It's
a-
all right.
That's probably
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, when I started going in 2010, honestly, it was you guys, like the leaders. There was such a beautiful energy. Like you felt like you belonged, you felt welcomed. It was so much fun. It was this perfect combination of fun and learning about God. Um, and I think that's really important for the youth because it keeps us coming back when we feel like we're accepted, we belong, we're having fun, but we're also like our spirit is getting fed. Spiritually we're growing because we're learning about God. And I know that that's not always the case for everybody, but I think like just the fact that you could be with other people your age and have build relationship with them and have that fun um, was something that would always get people to come back.
What's
Awesome.
up? And
Yeah.
and how much was it having Pastor Carlos in charge of the retreat at the Bridge at the time? How was it having him as your leader?
Can I just say? So I don't know if he still does this, but PC would go, claw and would like claw people.
He still does that.
That's my trademark. That's my trademark. Let me tell you something. One of the things that really hurts me during this whole pandemic is I can't be clawing people. 6 feet. I have to stay away 6 feet from
I
people.
know, right? You have to do it like 6 feet, claw, like like send vibrations of the claw to their neck. But so that was so funny, and like calling people lizard.
Yes.
So with Carlos, now I think for me, honestly, what touches me about Carlos is his humility because he was, when you're a kid, I guess you can't really verbalize these things, but like now growing up and looking back, I can see like how great of a leader you are, Carlos, and like in that time you were the head of the whole bridge, but it was like you were another one of us. You weren't a child, but you obviously you were a man, but you were always like so loving, so kind to everybody, would make us laugh, whether it was like silly little things like the claw or lizard, or just like acknowledging the presence of a child, or like when our age, like when we were 13, 14, acknowledging our presence and like showing you care, and like you weren't this big shot because you were the head of the bridge, but that you really cared for everybody individually. That was so beautiful, and seeing that humility in you to just love everybody and love your leaders, right? And like and how they led is a representation of you. And so because they led so well, that you were really such a great leader. So thank you for doing that, for pouring into the leaders that poured into us.
Thank you so much. Love you very much, Dea.
Dea,
Love you
now
too.
you're a grown woman now, doing your thing. We're extremely proud of you. We've been following you, the things that you've been doing, the way you represent God. You are a prime example that the program really works. That what we do in our ministry actually really works. So from the bottom of my heart, and you got a special place right here. Thank you. Now there's youth that are part of the bridge now. you know, and some of them are having a good time, enjoying every moment, but there might be some that might be not realizing how important this time is, that they're able to be part of a great movement. What advice do you want to give to the what advice would you like to give to the youth that are part of the bridge now?
Yeah. So I think so. The advice I would give is to have a relationship with God, because I know when I used to go to the bridge. By the way, representing. Hello. You remember these T-shirts? But these are like old. Y'all don't have these anymore.
Those are Bridge. That's a Bridge Midtown color shirt too.
Yeah. So Bridge Midtown represent. So when I was part of Bridge, like I would see a lot of people that would go to, like, to play basketball or to have fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. Like, keep going, keep playing basketball, like keep having a good time. But I really want to encourage you to have a relationship with God, because having a relationship with Jesus will change your life completely. It will give you peace in times where when it's like chaotic, like the times we're living in right now. Um, I know that for me, if I didn't have Jesus, I wouldn't have sanity. Like, it would be very hard to find peace, to find joy, to find um, a sense of purpose in my life if I didn't know the Creator who created me with purpose. And so my like advice is know God, search, seek to have a relationship with God. Have fun, have the best time of your life, have fun, but know God, know that He loves you, know that He has a plan for you, a purpose for you, and and let go of any fear, let go of any peer pressure, let go of anything of what anybody would say. The best decision that you can make in your life is to have a relationship with Jesus Christ.
And thank you so much, Dea. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye. Love you guys. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Well, there you go, Dea, guys. What do you guys think about that? Was that a good surprise for you guys?
Definitely,
I love
definitely.
her. And she's doing some amazing things. I mean, she's still a dancer, and I just love to see the woman of God that she's grown up to be.
Definitely. Thank you, Dea, for tuning in and spending this time and celebrating the 20th year of the Bridge.
And if you want on Instagram, she actually has her own. She started a little company, and if you want to follow her, she's not operating right now because of the pandemic. But if you go to Instagram.com/artmeup, that's her company, and you can hire her for artistic experiences and things like that.
So thank you, Dea, for coming in. And then that year, 2010, just pretty much we went from having a regular retreat to what we call now a BYMC. That's when the evolution has happened. And the retreats has expanded and grown ever since. So many big things has been happening with BYMC. A lot of kids were able to come in, get their life changed by God and stuff like that. And when it comes to BYMC and the retreats, it's such a big thing, right, guys? It's one of those things where, like, no matter how old you are, no matter, if you may feel like you're, young or whatever, you always want to come. And this is one guy who used to love the retreats. He used to love the retreats so much that he didn't care. He just had to be there, and he's going to be our next guest. Let's bring him in, Billy.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
My boy!
Reach for life!
What's good, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm good, man.
Yo, I love you so much, bro.
Man, same here, man. I had to
We all
surprise
do.
you guys, It's been a long time.
I know. What's up, Junior? How's it going, man?
I can't complain, man. This work, trying to stay safe,
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
Good deal, man.
That's
And,
all.
we got here Pastor, we got Brian, we got Jen, we got PC here, Carlos, we got Billy here.
Jen, Carlos, I miss you guys.
Love you, June. I have to say, through the years, A couple exceptions with June. You know, like June was one that used to always, you know, he got a little bit older. Like technically he couldn't go because of his age, but I know how much the retreat meant to him, and I know how much he God impacted his life, and I know he has an amazing heart. And without question, you know, I would always sneak him in to be there with me at the retreat.
That's true. That's true, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, Carlos always had my back. Always made sure, even though the money was hard at that time, but Carlos always made sure I was there, and I appreciate you for that very much. I really do.
June, how important was Bridge for you growing up?
I mean, the bridge was very important. It's one of those things like if you were trying to avoid trouble, and you could reach out, to God and have amazing friends that was doing the same thing you were doing, worshiping and trying to change your life around. That was probably the best thing ever. And also having friends, come over with you to worship and get closer to God and have amazing friends in the bridge was the best thing ever, man.
I remember, man, it was a point where me and you, man, we were very close back in the day. I remember I used to visit you every day at your job when you used to work at the ice cream shop at the mall, and I used to work at the sneaker joint, and I used to always come see you. That's what it was that friendship. You know what I mean? Like you and I, we worship songs together. Like we sang, we prayed with each other. And there's power when you're hanging out with people who love God. And that was very important for you.
It was very, very important. And it's crazy because I remember when Carlos and Jen, if I'm not mistaken, had we had, I believe, the classes in the attic or upstairs in Carlos's house.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it was me, Stan, Joel, and they introduced me to the bridge.
Oh, that's fun. Let's see if I can do well.
Yeah, definitely. That was where it would all started in that attic.
Yeah, the attic. I remember, and I remember we all used to make you guys go crazy.
Let me just for everyone to be able to see the attic. I have to say it was a very special. It was very special a place. This is the official invitation. It said the upper room, and I know it looks really cheesy, but it's there. And then, it said here to contact us. It has our beeper information. It was
wow. Yeah, no, it was amazing, man.
Beeper information.
I met a lot of good people in the attic. The attic is where it's at. Hey, William,
what was your favorite
how you doing?
retreat for you?
What was my favorite retreat? Oh, my favorite retreat was probably when we had was it like the blue team, the red team, and we used to all dress up, we used to have the bandanas on, and try to be, creative. And one thing with the retreat is that you really met very, very good people, and you got closer to a lot of people. And just to be away from all the headache, because a lot of us grew up in bad areas, but just to know that people that cares about you was willing to take you out from that madness for a couple of days, it was amazing. Especially the gym. The gym was everything. The gym was everything. That's where all the games were happening. And also, we used to always tell everybody, do not drink the milk. Do not drink your pride, do not drink the milk.
You mentioned Joel. Look, look a little one right there. That's Phil Schwartz, Michael Hart, and you see Joel there.
Pierre.
He does not look like that now.
He's a grown man.
And
But June,
that.
There's kids right now that are still thinking about going BYMC, right? Right now, the retreats are now called BYMC. You know what I mean? Things evolve and stuff like that. There's kids right now that are watching the show and they're like, man, I don't know. I probably don't want to go to retreats. It's probably corny, blah, blah. Well, if you could tell them right now why they should go to the retreats, we got one coming up this fall. What are you going to tell them?
Man, first thing first, I'm going to tell them if you just want to get closer to God and have fun, You know, it's. I know a lot of people probably think, oh, the retreat is just worshiping all day. It's really not. You know, the bridge, it's really different. It's they do basically everything that you could possibly think of as far as games, worshiping and making things fun for you. Because I know a lot of people think, well, the bridge is just going to be just worship and it might be boring. It's really not boring. Uh, What I can tell you guys is at least give it a try. If you really want to experience something very, very cool, go to the bridge, go to the retreat. I guarantee you, you're gonna meet very, very good people, and they're loving people also. So, you know, to be honest with you, I met so many cool people at the bridge, and I always used to tell Carlos, if I'm not mistaken, we should do something for all the old guys that used to go. This one time, everybody as Frankie, Dennis, Mook, Poochie, Danny, all of us, Raul, Marshmallow, all of us, we all should just do it one time. And, just to have that feeling back is always good, Like, there's times I do miss being on top of the bunk bed. Hey, I got the top bunk bed. I got the top. So, once that bus unloads, you're just running straight to the dorm and trying to get a spot, and it's very, very, very good feeling, man. And one thing I can say, I tell people all the time, the bridge definitely changed me because without the bridge, I would be out who knows doing what, And I want to thank Carlos and Jen and everybody else that was the leaders. You guys really make sure you took care of us, seriously, because even though, we were a pain in the butt, you always showed us it's okay. We're here for you. And that's very important when you know that somebody is there for you no matter, where you come from, what nationality you're coming from, if, how bad you are. The bridge is not like that. The bridge, no matter, pretty much, we don't discriminate, you know. You go there, you have fun, you get closer to God, and you'll be surprised, what that guy upstairs can do for you over the weekend, because you could have a miserable life, and you could have a serious anger problem. But once that man upstairs touches you, trust me, you will be a different person, definitely. And I'm not saying it's gonna, change overnight, but trust me, if you keep them close and you keep those good people that were looking you out, trust me, you will change. You definitely will change. Definitely.
Thank you, Junior, man. We appreciate you, bro. We love you, man.
I love you guys.
We gotta
a
kick
lot.
it soon, man. I'm trying to chill.
Yeah. Hey, remember this? My T got song.
T got song, of course. I mean, you already know.
Man. That's love.
All right, brother. Au revoir, bro. See you soon.
Carlos,
I just want to tell you. I just want to tell June, who knows, maybe you're onto something. Maybe in the future we have a Bridge alumni event where we bring back some old school heads from back day, a special event just for you guys.
Yes, I would love it. Just let me know. I'll pass on, the word. It's definitely something that I would really want to participate. Because to be honest with you, like I said, the bridge was everything, every Friday. I believe it was Fridays, right, Carlos? I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember in school, and I'm like, man, you know what? I can't wait for the school to be over because I gotta go to the bridge. I have to go to the bridge. And when you have that in your heart that you want to worship God and love the ones that basically helped you grow, it's the best feeling in the world to be around all that love. It really is. It really is.
Right.
And Carlos and Jen, man, you guys did a very good job. And to be honest with you, I never thought the bridge would still be going on to this day because it's been so long. And you guys are still rocking out, man. You guys still rocking out. I really appreciate you guys because to be honest with you, a lot of people might not tell you guys, but you guys saved a lot of lives. To be honest with you, you guys really did. Really did. I love you guys, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on, bro. We love you. We appreciate you, bro. And we'll see you soon, man.
Not a problem. Hey, Brian, man, very good to see you, Brian. That's my guy right there. B.
Love you, G.
Love you, brother, man. Take care of yourself, all right?
All day,
All right,
man. We
man.
got you. We good.
All right, man.
See you later, bro.
Be good.
Guys, that was nice, right?
Yeah, no,
Nice. I love Junior.
See, Junior's one of those guys that just he came, and you can just see all the stuff fall off of him when he walked in the door. A lot of our guys, they carried stuff around all week, but to have them walk through those doors, you can literally see the week fall off of them. Whatever they were dealing with in school or at home or in the streets, they walked in and they were like babies. And God used us to help build them, and they did their own work, and some of them are amazing.
Ooh. Definitely.
That was good, yo. And how many great leaders did we had over the time?
Oh, every single one was amazing.
I honestly, that's something we really have to work on, making a list of all of the leaders that we do have a list.
We've been working on it.
The
We've
invitation.
been working on in the background. We're not. It's not complete. I mean, there's so many people. It's hard to go through everyone, but we're working on that. Yeah.
But one of the most faithful leaders of all time is about to come on. He was so good. Is part of doing his thing, helping out so many times. Why don't we just bring him on so you can say what's up?
Here he comes.
Oh man.
Oh, Vinny, my man.
Vinny, what's up, man?
Vinny, how are you?
What's up, Vinny?
Doing well, Vinny.
Yo,
Look
Vinny
great.
tricked me, yo.
Yo, Vinny, so good to hear from you, man. I love you so much, man.
Yeah, man. Good times.
Good times. Let me tell you something about Vinny. Vinny, I used to come to Bridge with Tim sometimes because whether it was snowing or it was raining, I used to put on my Tims. But as soon as I went to Bridge, Vinny used to take off his own sneakers and let me borrow his sneakers so I could play basketball. Name a leader that does that, right, Vinny? You remember that?
Yeah.
That's a lot of love, Vinny. That's why you will always have a gigantic mansion in my heart because I love you, bro. Just for that.
And something else Vinny used to always do. I mean, back then you didn't have Spotify. Vinny used to make worship cassette tapes to give to any of the kids that wanted worship music. So that's a classic thing.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Vinny was a classic servant. No task was too little or too small. Whatever we needed, he was there, and he did it with a smile and with such joy. It was really awesome to work with you for so many years. I mean, you were definitely one of the originals and stayed for quite some time. So thank you for all of those moments and those acts of service for our kids.
Whenever I pass by your old house on Roselle Park, I always remember you. I want to pull over and pick you up.
Right?
You got
Get some Chinese food or something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Vinny just always being there, but I just remember the times in the car, just sitting around, driving here and there and talking and hanging out, Vinny. And again, when you drive by that corner, and it's like you like Carlos said, I kind of want to pull over and just wait for you for just a little bit. Come out, jump in the car, and just go.
Good time.
Awesome.
Vinny, I like your shirt, bro.
Yeah,
Represent.
man. I pulled it out. I still have it.
That's one
Tell
of
us some of your favorite memories of Bridge.
There's so many. I mean, of course, the retreats and all that. And of course, I still have this, and the kids like to watch it every once in a while.
that's the Enforcers video. Yeah.
Oh wow!
So,
that's a lot of money.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Making,
Yeah.
In Conant Park, I will never forget that.
Good times. Can't do that no more. But it's all good now.
no.
You can only just reminisce of the good old times, right?
So much fun.
True story about Vinny. Vinny, I think it was your personal one, but you bought the first digital camera that was ever used in the Bridge. Like, so you're responsible for a lot of the early photos that we have. And video too. You did a lot of video for us back before any of us were involved.
And then
in
the old
photography.
Bridge ID cards.
Speaking of ID cards,
Yes, just want to let people know that I have a lot of ID cards still. Elizabeth,
I actually have a booklet. I just had it out. I was gonna.
these are Bridge IDs. So if you still need your ID from back in the day,
I got you.
we got you. I actually have the machine to make them still too.
I think Vinny, what wasn't your like your AOL Instant Messenger name or something was like Bridge ID Man or something like that? Didn't you have some kind of
I
username
think
for that?
so. A long time ago. Yeah.
ID.
I think I have mine still in here somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Somewhere's in my wallet. I don't know where it's at. Yeah.
You have it in your wallet? That's dedication, man.
That's right. You get discounts wherever you go.
Yeah, the old discount. Yep.
So, Vinny, you've been part of a leader at the Bridge for many, many years. And right now we have leaders in our Bridge right now that are just, joining us probably for the first year. What advice do you want to give to the leaders that are part of the Bridge now and into the future?
I just say, like, sometimes you gotta go with the flow. You'll feel God tug at your heart for certain things, and you might not feel like that's what He's telling you to do. And you gotta go with it. Because I know there's times where I didn't know what to do, and I would feel God say, "Go talk to so and so" or whatever, and I would do that. Or the same with you, like when you had your wet Timberlands, and I would give off my sneakers or something. Just stuff that would help other people, or people that you feel don't belong, go to them and try to get in, figure out what's going on with them as well. So I make them feel welcomed.
What's up, man? Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Anything you want to say before you leave? Anything you want to say to Pastor Carlos, Jen, Brian, Billy?
Yeah, I miss y'all, and I wish I could still be there, man. It's amazing times. It's probably one of the things I talk about a lot when I'm hanging out with people and stuff. I always bring up the Bridge at some point and say how awesome, like, that was a big impact on my life and stuff, and how I miss it.
Hey, whenever you want to come out of retirement, all you need is buy a plane ticket. We'll take care of the rest. You know that.
Well, something that's really cool is that we have certain gatherings through Zoom now. So now you could join us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, just hit me up, and should be able to hook up.
Cool.
At time.
Vinny.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Vinny, we love you, man. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you.
Love you, Vinny.
Love you guys.
Take care, man.
I just want to highlight real quick. This was not planned randomly. We received a donation of 2,000 masks that we gave out to the community by DJ J. Jeff Pierre. I got you, brother. And I just saw Brenda Quinones. She's a worship leader for a New Life Church right now, but this was when she was coming to the Bridge.
Wow, that's dope.
Lord.
Yeah, and Vinny made all of those IDs.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. We wanted the kids to have a sense of belonging, obviously, to come to the Bridge. And so the IDs came on board, and they would come in with them and, showcase them. And then we even try to get some businesses to sponsor some discounts if they showed the Bridge ID at that time.
That's what's up.
So, Vinny, you were part of that.
Yep. So thank you, Vinny, man. We'll talk to you soon, bro. We'll
All
get
right,
the
brother.
plane tickets. You come up. We have a big party coming up soon, so we definitely need you here. Okay?
All right, brother.
Love you, man.
Love you.
Be good, man.
That was so good.
Yeah, that was cool to see.
That was nice. Vinny is the man. He really is.
Oh my goodness. Miss him.
No other heart like his.
No, absolutely not. Complete servant.
So, Billy, are you able to pull up some random pictures? I just want you to pull up random pictures from back in the day to see if our panel here could, talk about those particular moments.
I do have one set queued up. So these photos are from the very, very first event ever done by the Bridge. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the Dorney Park trip, which was one of the first ones. but this is the actual very first event we ever did. It was the sleepover in the church office from the year 2000. And I have those photos going, just playing on there. There's Jen laying on a couch with a bunch it's Alicia on there, and but yeah, that was one of the first events we ever did.
Is Brian playing? I guess that No Mercy.
Contra, maybe.
No, it was some kind of WWE game from like '99 or 2000, something like that.
Okay, that's funny.
I guess it would be WWF at that point.
Right.
So, but yeah, I have these photos ready. They're the very first Bridge event ever. We were all there. Well, Jesus wasn't there. You know, you're still a baby at that point.
I was still gangbanging. Probably finishing my first bit in jail.
And I think was it in this event where I know Junior brought up Marshmallow? Yeah. I think he got his nickname
at this event. Yes, we dressed him up as Marshmallow as part of one of the games.
So he his nickname.
Yep. So they're the first Bridge event ever. I don't even know when that was. It's got to be like probably June. It's probably like right after the Bridge first actually started, that first month, because it was free and we had no money.
So we did games with marshmallows, like Chubby Bunny. Do you remember that, Billy? You had to say you had to put marshmallows in your mouth, and
yeah, that's definitely a game we can't do anymore.
I still get sick thinking about it. Oh man.
Yeah, a lot of good memories.
Good memories.
We actually had a room where we put down cardboard and we did breakdancing a little bit back then too.
Yep, we did that.
So one of the biggest things about our youth ministry that made our youth ministry so strong, so powerful, was small groups. We have many small groups that were like mini. For those who don't know who small groups is when you have like little tiny small meetings with like small number of people. We call them, I guess, mini bridges, right? Where a small number of people meet at some leader's house, and we literally dig really, really deep into who God was and stuff like that. I know the one that I used to go to back in the day was Tangent, and Jen was the leader of that particular one. And I know Brian used to run a small group back in the day. You remember which ones you used to run?
I had a couple of them. I don't know if we had an official name. We had but I had Vinny in my group. I had Tony Martinez in my group. A couple other old head names that a lot of the younger guys have no clue who they are. But yeah, the last one I ran was at Andrew Court's house. That was a really special group, and those guys, you guys, made a huge impact on me, whether you guys realize it or not.
Wow.
You know, I felt more growth in those years for myself than probably since the very beginning of when I got saved back in '89.
That's the year I was born.
89 was when I first started in youth ministry in another iteration of the youth group before the Bridge.
So you were doing youth ministry as long as I've been living.
I've been doing youth ministry since '89. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've always been the old man in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm left.
We appreciate that. I remember that group. I think I only went like once or twice, but I just remember like in that room. In that group, we were like, I remember that everybody there, P, Gabe, Tony, all of us, we were able to keep it real with you. We were able to give you the rawness of what we were feeling inside, and you were able to use that raw feeling that we had and guide us to how we could take that energy and apply it to Jesus. And let me tell you something, for me personally, bro, I'm forever in your debt for that one.
Thank you. But that's just how the Lord had me wired, you know, and that's just it. He uses you how you're wired. He wires you so he can use you. So, you know, it is what it is, and I'm glad I was able to be used.
Amen. And just so you know, you know, small group is so important that you know, it's like that's when you know, it's in those types of groups that we were able to pretty much get really really close to God. So you know, it's very important. I just, you know, for those who are interested in joining a small group, we actually have two groups happening. We have a all boys group that is happening because of the virus. We kind of like you know, faded off a little bit. We have a boys group and we also have a girls group. If you want any information on what that's all about, make sure you contact us, slide into our DMs, and we could talk about that very much.
The small groups are great. I had one back then too. I had Joyce and Alex. It was in their house. Back when I had my small group back then, and then when I was before the bridge, I was in Carlos's small group for a little bit when he was leading one.
Was that at Local's house?
Yeah, I was on East Jersey Street, right by the well, it's not even a hospital anymore, but right down there.
Yeah, and what was awesome about them is you shared life with people. You, like my group, I remember we met every Tuesday night, and you just got to know your kids, and you know, we became a small family. You know, we would bring food or make popcorn or you know, listen to music and then talk about God and just kind of check in to see how everyone's week was going. And I mean, that's really where the relationships were built. You know, I loved the small group. That was just really amazing times.
Yep. I remember one time I was having a personal crisis in my life. And it was literally probably the perfect time to have a perfect crisis because it was in the middle of small group when I had that personal crisis. And I remember when everybody left, I stood in the living room with Jen and Carlos, explained to them what the situation that was happening in my personal life. And they literally was like, we were able to sit down, we were able to pray about it and talk about it and grow. And I was able to grow and adapt and do what I have to do. So I really encourage you guys.
Kathy just commented, yes, Numa videos at Carlos and Jen's house.
Goodness, I forgot all about them. Yes.
Good times.
Classic.
Numa. Yes.
I think, I don't know when Kathy came on, but just in case, look, Kathy.
So what else, do you have any other like hidden gems that you have back there, Carlos, that you would like to share before we wrap up the show? I want to make sure we get everything.
Sure. Pretty much here, I have, we were doing devotionals leading into the retreat. This is the 2001 retreat, getting ready to surrender. This is the devotional we gave everyone leading up to it. As you can tell, we were up to speed with the best graphics in the whole world. For me personally, one of my favorite memories, how you were mentioning about community small groups in my mother's attic. We used to have an amazing time. I mean, there were sometimes we had, I know it's small group, but sometimes we had like 30 to 40 kids that would meet together in my mother's attic, and we would have dinner together and stuff. But this is a graphic, a flyer to invite you to my mother's attic right there, as you can tell. The heart skit, a pad letting you know who's doing what, you know, like different people. I actually have my first small group teaching for the Bridge. I actually have everything highlighted. What good is that? I have this that you guys gave me in August 15, 2004. So this is 16 years old. It has a lot of your messages in the back.
Yep.
And we actually have a timeline that Janelle did for us. A little shout out for Janelle, a huge blessing that we get to keep all the events from the beginning. The first 10 years. First 10,
10 years of the Bridge.
10 years of the Bridge. And those are the major things I have here. Oh, something that was really important for us throughout the years is to see our leadership grow. And I was able to find one of the leaders. If Alex is watching right now, this is a flyer highlighting you, Alex, and it tells you you have the gift of exhortation, music, and leadership. And we gave you the description of each one with verses that you can follow up on. This is the only one I have. Alex, you left it behind. I don't know why you didn't take it. But we would do that. Something that was really important to us was just doing that for all of the leaders and for all the leaders and all the volunteers that's helped out at any point throughout the journey of the 20 years. We're extremely grateful for each of you, whether it was just for one season or you were there, like, for the whole entire thing. You left the mark, and I believe that we've impacted thousands of lives. We really don't, and it's a domino effect. You don't know how it's going to continue, even moving forward too.
Yep. So Brian, you mentioned that small group that you had.
Yep.
We have a special guest that would like thank you. Bring him in.
All right, give me 1 second to get him in. Here we go.
There he is. What's going on, Gabe?
What's up, dude?
How you doing, man?
Gabo!
Check your audio. Check your audio.
Yeah, hit your audio, bro.
There you go. It's coming. Perfect. There you go.
I'm here. What's up, guys? Did you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you now, man.
Yeah.
We're celebrating 20 years, Gabe, of the Bridge. Can you believe that? 20 years?
Crazy. I think I was there for like 12 of them.
Yeah.
A long time.
Right?
We were actually talking about, I asked Brian, we were asking everybody in the panel what was their favorite moments of doing ministry. And Brian said that one of his favorite moments was he used to have small groups at P's house. You remember that?
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah, those were great. Honestly, I feel like those groups, that between that one, Harold's, and the one at Jen's, really, really shaped me. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, cause my heart, like, you know what I mean? That's how I feel personally. Like, I wouldn't have the morals I have if it wasn't for those groups.
Yeah.
Being from Elizabeth, you know what we deal with, and those groups really kept me out of a lot of trouble. Brian dropped a lot of gems in those groups. He always used to give me the gems anyway, but he really dropped a lot of gems in those groups. He really dropped a lot. And you know what it was about Brian is Brian gave it to me in my language.
God.
He gave it to me in like he spoke my language real unfiltered. He wasn't cursing nothing, but it was real unfiltered, real direct, no beating around the bush. And that's kind of like how I am, and I really, really, really respect it. I'm grateful for all the time I spent in the ministry. Like I really am, because I feel like it was training for the real world. That's honestly how I feel. And I feel like it gave me like how you say it? Like I know my gifts now. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have been out here blind had it not been for the time I spent there. And I'm very grateful for that. Honestly, from my heart, 150% to all of you. Brian, Carlos, Jen, Harold, Kevin, everybody. You know, everybody. For real.
Brian, what do you want to say to Gabe?
Hey, Gabe and I still speak once in a blue, and we will still get together, Gabe. I'm a little further away now, but we're gonna get together, man. And
I'm mobile now. I haven't been mobile for 2 years, so I'll pop up. I'll do pop-ups, man. Let me know.
I'm down here in Trenton, but so yeah, no, we'll get together. We'll get together. I'm coming up probably this weekend because I gotta pick up my son. So we'll I'll hook you up. We'll get together.
All right, most definitely. Come over. Me and Tony living together, so you can definitely pop up.
Good deal. Hey, I love you, man. All day long.
Yeah, I love you big, man. Thank you so much, man. I really, for real, thank you so much, man. Like,
so, Gabe, Gabe, we're in 2020. You know the climate of what's happening around the world right now. Why is it so important for the youth to participate in Bridge? If there's a youth watching this right now that they're going through all the stuff that you're seeing right now, they feel like they're not valued, they feel like their life doesn't matter, they feel like they're going through all this stuff. Why is Bridge so important for them?
Because it's community. It give you a sense of community, and it give you a sense that people aren't bad. I remember being a young boy, and I always felt everybody was against me. Like as a kid, like I always felt like that. I was just a rebel at heart. people were walking on one side of the street, I want to go to the other side. That's just how I was. And it gave me a sense of community. It gave me a sense of moral, and it kept me in the time. What we did, we actually went in the community. We helped the community out. I remember we went and helped the senior citizens out. It was like a lot of things that brought like real honest joy to my heart. You know what I mean? And I think it's necessary when you're a young boy experiencing what you experience on the street and what you experience in school and all of that, especially men of color. Like it's worse for them. You know what I mean? Like and me, like I'm a light-skinned Latino, and I seen my privilege. You get what I'm saying? So I know, had I been a different shade, I probably would have been locked up a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks that that's the harsh reality of things. And just get into a place of community and get to a place that you know the love is genuine, and stay there. Like personally, I didn't really stay there. I chose other things, but at the same time, like I really honor the time I spent there. Like, and I really love all you guys still to this day. You guys still love me. You still show me the same exact, and it is great. And I feel that, and that comes from a person that honestly turned the back on the church. You know what I'm saying? So like, and for you guys to treat me like that still to this day, it goes to show you, for any youth that's listening, like no one's judging you. Like, live your life. Love yourself, love others, and pray. Make sure you pray. Make sure you get down on your knees, and make sure you don't have pride when it comes to God. Like, and that's personally how I feel. Like, I don't. To me, like, I understand I'm human, and I'm gonna make mistakes, and I got that communication, and that's the most important thing. And I feel like the community you guys built for the last 20 years. Has changed lives, and you don't even understand how much is going to shake this world one day. Like, it's really going to shake this world, and I'm not even talking about me. I just know that I got my hands in other kids younger than me too, and they see what you guys did to me in my walk. You know what I'm saying? And that honestly, I really appreciate it, because I could have been a way different guy. You know what I mean? I could have went a completely different way. You yourself, Jesus, you could have went a completely different way, and it's thanks to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Thanks to God, like, first and foremost. But thanks to you guys for opening your homes, putting the time in. Like, I thank you, Carlos. You used to go to school for me, man. Like, I look back on that, like, he really used to go to school for me, like. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I love you guys, man. I really do. I love you guys. That really, like, especially at 31 years old, excuse me, I keep forgetting how old I am. And I reflect a lot on my 20s, on my early teens, on why I feel the way I am, why I am who I am, and all of that. And you guys played a major part. You guys played a major part. Mama Millie, Beth Court, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people played a major part of my upbringing. I had many mothers. I didn't have a father, but I had many fathers. Like, and I see that, and I'm thankful. I'm very, very thankful.
And Gabe, in the comments right now,
what's up?
How you doing? In the comments right now, you got some people. You got Kathy saying hello. You got Harold and Diane shouting out to you. They're watching. They're hearing everything you're saying right now.
They're yelling out soul food.
Soul food. Thank you for the meals, Harold. Thank you, because you know I'm a knucklehead. I know I said a lot of
very important question, Harold. Very important question. Who cooks better, Pastor Harold or Diane?
Oh, Diane, hands down.
Diane got it hands down. Diane got it hands down. I'm sorry, Harold. I'm sorry. Like, I don't remember your meals. I remember Diane meals.
Yo, but Gabe, what you said was very powerful, and for the youth that are watching the show right now, or they're going to watch the show in the future, there's something powerful when you connect yourself with people that genuinely loves you, that genuinely wants good for you. And the whole point of a bridge, if you guys are Bridge 27 with me, what do I say? I want you guys, when you come to the bridge, I want you to know that you're part of a good family here. Here you can be free. Here you could express yourself. Here you could talk about what's going on in your heart. And here's my best friend right here.
We walked in that bridge 17 years ago into that church, and we look like heathens. I want to tell you, we look like crazy. Like, I had no slick, I had no eyebrows. I looked crazy. I looked like the devil in the Passion of the Christ. And it was. I'm telling you, like, and it was all they did was bother us over and over and over until we really got there and we really opened our hearts up, and it was a beautiful experience. Like, it was beautiful for years. It was awesome, and I'm really thankful that I got to live that, and that I got to do those things, and I got to experience you guys and your love, and it was awesome. Like, I wouldn't be who I am right now, which is, like, I feel like a balance of that, you know what I mean, and my mother and other people I've experienced.
Yeah. You know, so you hear it here, guys.
Before 18, you don't understand how much of a sponge you are. Like, you really don't understand it.
Yeah.
You don't grasp it. And it's not till you get to our age right now that I really understand how much you guys rubbed off on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It always happens, right? When we get older.
Yeah, once you get older, yeah.
Well, any last words you want to say to Gabe before we let him go?
Just that we love you forever and ever.
Oh, Gabe,
Thank
we
you so much.
Gabe, you know that we're always family. Always family. I hope you got my text messages for your birthday.
I swear I did, but I got, like, everybody was hitting me that day for some reason.
We love
you. My phone up, dude. I love you guys, man. I love you guys big. Carlos, Jen, thank you. That was one of the best fellowship groups I ever experienced too, and I got the book The Alchemist from that fellowship book. That's a big part of my life still to this day. And yeah, man, just if you can, like, don't. I just want to leave it with this. This is my last statement. Like, if you're going through anything and you feel like you're not worthy of God's love, because that's how I used to feel at that age. Don't feel that way. Stick around. Do what you got to do. Understand that you're human, and understand you're not Jesus. And you're gonna make mistakes, and just stick to them. Talk to them. Let them know how you feel, and that's really how I feel, and that's how I'm coming right now as a 30-year-old man.
My boy.
31-year-old.
By the way, guys, if you're not watching, that's actually my best friend in the whole wide world. We've been knowing each other since we were in 2nd grade. He's my heartbeat.
Brother.
He was the best man at my wedding, and I love you so much, Gabe. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's an honor to have you, bro.
No, bro, it's no problem. Whenever y'all need me, I'm there. Let me know. All right?
Thank you, bro.
Love you guys. Bye.
What a perfect way to start to wrap up the show, right?
Great. This is awesome.
You know, one thing that I noticed with all of our guests that we had, whether they were youth or they were adults, they don't realize the impact that we do. They realize the impact that the Bridge has played in their own personal lives. And before we end the show, guys, we talked about the past. We already know what's going on in the present. Let's talk about the future before we end the show. For the leaders that are watching the show, Brian, for the leaders that are watching the show, that they could be tired, they could be they feel as if you guys know more than us, right? When it comes to youth ministry, you don't see fruit until 30 years later, probably, right? That's youth ministry, and they feel frustrated, and they feel like, man, I feel like I don't see enough fruit and stuff like that. Brian, what do you want to tell the youth that the leaders, the leaders that they feel like I think this is going to be it? Like, what do you want to say to them to encourage them to keep on trucking?
Hey, I did it for a long time. There was many times I felt like I can't do this anymore. It's too much. This youth ministry is life encompassing. And I need to move on. But yeah, what you do has ramifications years and years and years down the road, guys. You are doing God's work. And yes, it gets tiring. And no, there is not much thing. But it is still rewarding. I'm going to tell a story about what happens to me every once in a while. I can be out with my son at a movie theater and somebody I ministered to, okay, get this, back in like 1991, will come to me and tell me that I was a huge influence in their lives and why they are in youth ministry now, why they're in another ministry now. Guys, you don't know what you're doing. God is using you to do things and plant seeds that he's going to reap and harvest in 20 and 30 years. I have had that story happen probably, like 10 times in the last 10 years. Even today, when I feel like what I did wasn't all that great, or what I was part of wasn't as influential, it takes somebody like Gabe to remind me of, okay, I am worthy still, and it's moving, guys. Just when God puts it on your heart to be involved, be involved. There are going to be life circumstances that come in and try to crowd that out, just like that blade of grass growing up in between the sidewalk grooves. There's lots of stuff trying to choke you out. No, know what God has called you for, and stay on task. He'll release you when the time is right, but stay on task until then. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. And Jen, there's youth right now that don't realize the impact that the Bridge can have in their own personal life. They just see the Bridge as a place to come play basketball and chill with your friends. When the leaders call them down to sit down and they have small groups, they're like, oh boy, like I don't want to listen, blah, blah. What do you want to say to them, and so that they can realize the importance of what this ministry is all about?
I would say to the youth that the Bridge has so many opportunities for them to grow, that they can learn about themselves, about gifts in them, that it is just amazing. I have seen kids try different things, lead small groups, sing, act, dance, and then have gone on to become vocalists or actors or teachers, and they've learned these things in their small groups or at the Bridge. I've seen kids that came in with such low self-worth, and now see themselves through the way God sees them. I mean, I get the opportunity to look back 20 years, and I mean, hearing Gabe, June, I mean, Jesus, I'm looking at you, and I remember your first retreat like it was nothing. Like I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but we did the labyrinth that year, and it was a dark room, and we had headphones, and we went to different prayer stations. And I remember clear as day, you being there, and you were standing in front of a mirror, looking at yourself. And I remember praying and saying, God, I pray that he would see through your eyes and not his own eyes as he stands in the mirror, and that he would see the potential that he has. And here you are leading the Bridge, now. So kids,
I remember that moment. I was looking at the mirror, and because of the lighting, half of my face was dark and half of my face was lit. And I remember that at that moment, I knew that I had a battle inside that I had to fight, and I had to feed the light and choke the darkness. And at that moment, I was like, God, like I want to be light. And everything that you were praying, I was literally praying for myself for that moment. That's why you're always my guardian angel, my mother, and I love you with all my heart.
So if that could be what kids find, God's gifts in them and their purpose, 20 years later, who knows what you could be doing? So that's what I would say to them.
Yeah. And I just want to say special shout out to Jesus for leading the Bridge. Now it's been 6 years already, and you're doing a great job. And I know it's not easy. It's always, and it's so funny too, because it's like being a leader and then stepping into the head position is a drastic difference. And I definitely want to thank you, Zeus, for everything that you've done through the years, the lives you're impacting, and also all the leaders that are helping and supporting you during this time too. And the reality is that this is what ministry is about, for it to be generational. Like, you know what I mean? Like, What good, like, I forgot who said it exactly, but they said, like, that they were surprised that the bridge was still going on, like, after
June.
after 20 years. Honestly, if the bridge wouldn't be going on, in my opinion, we failed.
Yeah.
Because to me, one of the biggest mistakes anyone could make is to think that the greatness of their destiny is within their lifetime. Because your destiny has to be greater than your lifetime and go for generations forward. And that's why for all the youth leaders that are watching, like, you're impacting generations. Like, like, beyond our lifespan, there's going to be people that are going to be touched because of your ministry. And you're doing it for God. You know what I mean? Like, it's not meant to be easy. God said you have to carry your cross. And then at the same time, too, for the kids that are watching, the same thing how Jen said with Jesus. Jesus didn't know at that time that he was going to be leading the bridge. No. And then even for myself, I remember going up to Billy's dad and telling him I wanted to help out. Like, I wanted to be a leader at the bridge. And he only asked me one question. It was easy to be a leader back then. He only asked me one question. Why do you want to be a leader? I just looked at him. I was like, I just want to help the kids. And that's it. That's what I said. He's like, come on, you're on. You're one of the leaders. And I had no idea where that journey was going to take me.
So. Man, it literally that journey took you to a place where a program was born in the city of Elizabeth that has impacted thousands and thousands and thousands. My question to you, Pastor Carlos, there are adults now, not kids, they're adults that used to be part of the bridge when you started, when you were their leader, when you were their rabbi, the one that used to guide them through everything and through it, and they feel like they're lost right now. They feel like, they lost it, and, they don't know how to come back. They don't know what to do to regain that first love that they had when they had that bridge. They remember that moment in Second Press when they lift their hands for the first time. They remember those moments at the different bridges in Bayway, Amora, downtown, where they accepted Jesus for the first time, and they feel like they lost it. What do you want to say to them right now?
Well, of course, you could always regain the love for your first love, which is, of course, God. And there's absolutely nothing that you could do to make God love you more. And there's nothing that you could do to make God love you less. God loves you exactly the same compared to the time period you had your hands up at a retreat or whatever you might be doing at this moment. And what's amazing with God is that he's just waiting for you to come home. He's just waiting for you just to turn your heart and surrender it to him. What's amazing with God is that you don't have to check off certain things or get everything together before coming home. He wants you to come home exactly the way that you are. And when you come home, let me tell you, once you feel his embrace, everything will melt away as well. And what one of the biggest lies is that the devil does is make you feel as though you're not worthy of his love. One of the biggest lies is that you can't come back. One of the biggest lies is that God is going to reject you. And those are lies from the enemy. It's not true. And what happens, I shared this in one of the teachings recently, is that after a while, when the devil whispers those lies, often you start believing it's reality, but it's the farthest thing from the truth. God loves you, and it's never too late for him to unite your heart with his heart, because that's what the bridge is all about. So.
Yep. Well, thank you guys. We had an amazing show. Billy, anything you want to say before we leave?
I mean, it's incredible that, that the bridge, I mean, we've hit 20 years. It feels like yesterday that was, we were just starting it out. I mean, it went by 20 years really, really, really quick. I mean, there's lots of memories, lots of faces, lots of stories. And we want to hear like everyone's stories from the bridge. We put a call out a little while ago for people to send us videos telling us their favorite bridge memories and things like that. And we didn't use them on the show here because we had a lot more guests than we were anticipating, but we are going to be using those in future shows and stuff like that. So if you want to share your bridge story, if you're in the chat room, if you're watching and you want to share your bridge story, record a quick video, and we'll be posting them out all throughout this whole year, because this whole year is our 20th anniversary. So we want to celebrate this whole time. We want to celebrate everything the bridge has done, all the faces and the lives that have been part of the bridge, and it's humbling to have been part of it for so long, and for us to have reached this milestone. And it's great to see all these. I mean, I see you guys all the time still, but to have everyone back together in this one chat is pretty incredible. To have the original team back together.
Well, before we go, I just want to say, Billy, you are the heartbeat, the backbone of this ministry, and we appreciate you so much. I thank you so much for your leadership for the last 20 years. We would definitely not be where we are if it wasn't for your innovation, for your thought, your mind, the way you can make something a million times better, and you forever will be the GOAT and the Hall of Famer of the ministry. Brian, your soul, your realness of you, literally, you were everything that we all needed, especially the inner city kids. We needed you, and you played such a big role in our hearts to this day. To this day, when me and my boys are hanging out, we talk about you. And it's you and Harold, that you guys were gigantic pieces in our hearts. You made us realize the importance that we were, and forever we are forever in your debt. Jen, you're my mom. I love you so much. You did everything. You taught me everything. You continue to teach me leadership. Continue to love me the way I am, and continue to root for me. And I appreciate you. And I know that so many kids throughout the Bridges history feel the same way. We thank and we love you. And to our fearless leader, our founding father, the GOAT, the OG. Pastor Carlos is the type of person where if he asks me with a toothbrush to clean the streets, to clean Morris Avenue completely from North Avenue all the way to Broad Street in a toothbrush, I would do it in a heartbeat. And the reason why is because I know he would do that for every single one of us. And that's one thing that I want, and I know that everybody shares the same way. We have a comment right here at the show from Leslie that says, every time Carlos speaks, and he makes me want to get out of my house and change the world. That's the reality of it. I appreciate your leadership. And I always, I always talk to people all over, from different parts of my life. And the one thing that I always say that I'm always grateful for, I'm so glad, I thank God that I have such a leader like you. And our goal is at the Bridge is continue your legacy, and our objective is to continue that mission that you dreamt of when you were young, and to make sure it continues going. And we look, I'll make sure that the next person that I pass the baton to is going to continue having your heart installed in them, in her, and we're going to make sure the ball keeps going. And we love you with all of our hearts, and we appreciate you. The Bridge Youth Ministry, it's our number one objective is to unite these youth with the heart of God. And that's pretty much it, guys. So, guys, thank you for this amazing show. Billy, for those who are watching the show, what are the things that they need to do in order to stay connected to us?
You need to subscribe and follow us on all of the things on YouTube. Here, if you're on YouTube watching right now, make sure you click the subscribe button. It's right there on the page. Just got to move your mouse like 3 inches. Do it now. And click the notification bell
too. Hit that joint.
You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. And I think we have a TikTok. Everything is always Bridge Youth. So it's at Bridge Youth on all of the things. Follow us on there. We will be posting clips from this show. We'll be posting the videos that you guys have already sent us. And if anyone else sent us videos, we'll be posting those on our social networks. Share the show, follow us, do all the things, and then come see us once we're not inside your computer, but we're out in the real world again.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. We love you. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Mwah.
Wow.
Enjoy, guys. God bless you.